Now, let's not forget the 3, 4, 5, maybe more incidents where Justin Trudeau wore blackface because he thought it was funny to pretend that he was black. We don't know how many times he did that because he can't remember. It seems that this was a classic for Justin Trudeau, the comedian, to wear blackface. What does this show about Justin Trudeau's true character?
Woo! Boy, oh boy, that's a lot to have said about you in the Canadian Senate, isn't it? Well, well, well. Justin Trudeau does not have a fan in Donald PLETT. He's the Conservative opposition leader in the Senate, and he put together a very long speech, which we're going to put the highlights together in. And man, oh man, there are so many Trudeau scandals, scams, and controversies. It's almost impossible to count them. But Donald PLETT did, and he tells us about the worst ones right here. These are the highlights of this piece. That the whole video, I'll include a link in the description and the video, but you've got to see Donald PLETT light Trudeau on fire. And Trudeau is going to burn, man. His time is going to come. Election day is looming. Let's take a look at the highlights of Donald PLETT absolutely destroying almost everything Trudeau has done since 2015 and before that. Let's take a peek.
A culture of nepotism and corruption. But the Trudeau Liberals are a special breed of Liberals. First, they are totally incompetent. So their many, many ethical breaches are a mix of goofiness, incompetence, and moral turpitude. The Trudeau Liberals are also special in their belief that whatever they do, even if it is unethical, is done for a higher cause. They truly believe they are above the law and that the ethics rules are only for mere mortals, not for them, the great justice warriors. Before that, we had Elbowgate, when Justin Trudeau pushed aside fellow MP Ruth Ellen Brosso because he was in a hurry to vote. His time was more precious than others, and pushing aside women who get in the way is something our fake feminist Prime Minister does without hesitation. That was in line with Justin Trudeau's behavior in the Kokanee grope incident, where he groped a female journalist. Then he said, "Oh my, I would not have done this had I known that the woman was a national reporter." I guess in his mind it's more acceptable to grope a person that is not a national reporter than one that is. But what was strange was when he said that Justin Trudeau had hugged him after he revealed that he had an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. The fact that the Liberal government is by far and out the worst offender ever in terms of ethics probably explains why it is not interested in appointing someone who is not connected to them and who will do that work seriously. But this happy bunch knows how to organize a party. Sorry, a cabinet retreat. The 3 affordability retreats held in Charlottetown, Vancouver, and Hamilton between 2022 and August 2023 cost $1,325,000. Hey, life is better with lobster and white wine, especially when you are discussing affordability. Then there is the case of Dominique Barton. The former CEO of McKinsey was dispatched to the Beijing embassy after Justin Trudeau fired John McCallum. At McKinsey, Barton preached the necessity for Canada to get closer to Russia and China. And we can all see the foolishness of that. He is the last political appointment to China. Trudeau now realizing that even though he admires their basic dictatorship, the Chinese do not reciprocate the admiration for little potato. Remember, the Prime Minister decided to fire Stéphane Dion, the worst foreign affairs minister in a long time. Now, that was a good move, But the Liberals managed to bungle his appointment as ambassador, giving him 2 different posts. The appointment to the EU had to be rescinded after the EU protested. Now, I don't dispute for a second that someone who has been involved in public life can make a great diplomat, and that the Prime Minister does not have to appoint career diplomats as ambassadors or consuls. But what justifies the fact that these political appointees are paid more than a career diplomat? Is the cost of living in Paris or London or New York higher if you are a friend of Justin Trudeau compared to a bureaucrat? I suppose it is if you want to invite Justin Trudeau to spend the night. The exact role of Mr. Barton in the shady dealings at McKinsey while he was there is still unknown. This is the firm who advised Trudeau Pharma in their strategy to get thousands and thousands of people hooked on OxyContin, and has now agreed to pay close to $1 billion in settlements over this. To trust the CEO of this organization represents at best a serious lack of moral compass on the part of Justin Trudeau. That was in line with Justin Trudeau's behavior in the Kokanee grope incident, where he groped a female journalist. Then he said, "Oh my, I would not have done this had I known that the woman was a national reporter." I guess in his mind it's more acceptable to grope a person that is not a national reporter than one that is. Now, we all remember, of course, that our Prime Minister decided that this was indeed a lesson, not just for him, but for all of us. We all know that some people experience things differently, he said. Now, let's not forget the 3, 4, 5, maybe more incidents where Justin Trudeau wore blackface because he thought it was funny to pretend that he was black. We don't know how many times he did that because he can't remember. It seems that this was a classic for Justin Trudeau, the comedian, to wear blackface. What does this show about Justin Trudeau's true character? One thing we know about him is that he likes to travel. And these trips will sometimes cause problems with his international guests, often be ethically wrong, and always very, very expensive to the Canadian taxpayer. There is the case of his vacations, of course, from the Aga Khan Island to the $80,000 a week resort in Jamaica. Justin Trudeau will only vacation first class and always on someone else's dime. Last Christmas, the Trudeaus enjoyed a $9,300 a night, 5,000 square foot villa that boasts 6 bedrooms, a private pool, a hot tub, butlers, a housekeeper, and a chef. After initially telling the media that Trudeau would be paying out of pocket for his family vacation to Jamaica over Christmas, the Prime Minister's office admitted that Trudeau and his family were actually staying in Jamaica at no cost. Again, this habit of lying to the public. Trudeau's arrogance was on full display when he explained with a smirk that, and I quote, "Like a lot of Canadian families, we went to stay with friends for the Christmas holidays." I also spent a day or two with friends over the Christmas holidays. I think we ordered in some chicken. Trudeau does not use his wealthy connections only to get vacation spots down south. He gets to use a Calgary millionaire's beachfront house when he goes surfing in Tofino, BC, which allows him to get away from it all, especially get away from visiting the Indigenous people who invited him for the first ever National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. Now, our Prime Minister does not only enjoy water sports. His 4-day ski trip to Montana last year cost the taxpayers over $230,000. I do not dispute the right for the Prime Minister to take vacations with his families. We all like to do that. But I do not recall Prime Ministers Mulroney, Chrétien, Martin, Harper going to billionaire islands while they were in office. They spent most of their break weeks at Hurricane Lake. It makes sense for the Prime Minister to go there. It's close to Ottawa, already organized for security, a bit like Camp David in the U.S. The government decided to spend upwards of $11 million to renovate Harrington Lake, including moving the secondary house closer to the lake. But Justin Trudeau does not use Harrington Lake. Why? Senators will certainly remember Trudeau's performance at Queen Elizabeth's funeral, where he sang Queen songs at his posh hotel, where he had a $6,000 a night suite with a butler. Remember how Senator Gold was refusing to answer who was in the suite? It is because of a mistake by a staffer that we learned what we all suspected. It was Justin sleeping in the room. He spent $61,000 to attend a summit with entertainers to talk about, get this, how to end poverty. Well, when you spend $1.3 million to talk about affordability, you should spend at least $60,000 talking about poverty. Trudeau's trip to India in 2018 was a complete disaster. He brought to India an Indian chef. Guess they didn't have any out there. He invited a terrorist on the trip. He made a fool of himself by not only appearing in disguise, but trying to be more Bollywood than the Bollywood stars themselves. He single-handedly caused a rift between Canada and the most populous country on earth. One aspect of Justin Trudeau's legacy that we will need to thoroughly investigate is, why has the Vancouver Chinese community funded his campaigns in Montreal for years? Also, there is a lot to learn about the dealings that went on at the Trudeau Foundation. This secretive and nebulous organization was granted $100 million by Jean Chrétien. You would think that was enough to do whatever this small clique of elitists wanted to do. But no, they accepted gifts from shady characters. Hopefully a new government will do what it can to provide Canadians with the truth about this organization. But colleagues, one thing is clear about Justin Trudeau. He is the Prime Minister who was found guilty of breaking the Conflict of Interest Act so many times that we have lost count. The Ethics Commissioner recommended that the Prime Minister and all of his cabinet receive a special refresher on what ethical conduct is and what is the code, what is in the code. Of course, those Liberals believe they are above the law. The rules are made for others, so they snub the Commissioner. Colleagues, I am nowhere near finished detailing the list of ethical breaches and misconduct committed by the Prime Minister, his cabinet, and other party MPs. But even if I have unlimited time, I will stop here because I think you get the point.
Oh, no.
But I must point out that all these facts are known. All these facts are known because some journalists and the Conservative opposition has worked tirelessly to find the truth. The Trudeau government has developed what the Information Commissioner called a culture of secrecy. Senators can have a glimpse of what this culture of secrecy is right here in the Senate when the government continually refuses to answer our questions that it deems inconvenient. And Canadians now call the NDP Liberal coalition the costly cover-up coalition, because the NDP will always join the Liberals to stop House committees to investigate Liberal corruption. Here in the Senate, the Conservative opposition has managed, even though we are badly outnumbered, to shed some light on all that Liberal corruption. I suspect that is because that we have been as effective because that the government is. I suspect that it is because we have been so effective that the government is cooking up a scheme to unilaterally change the rules of the Senate to reduce the powers of the opposition. They are so tired of us digging up the truth. We have to do something. So, colleagues, prepare for that, because that is what the leader of the government has indicated, we are going to take away the power of the opposition. We are going to take away the rights of the opposition. We are going to give the rights that you have to people who stand for nothing. Conservatives stand and support 6 million voters that voted for them in the last election. And we will continue to do our job. Justin Trudeau will be remembered as the Prime Minister who broke the code of ethics several times. He will be remembered for leading a government that considered ethic rules as mere suggestions that could be discarded in pursuit of what they thought was the greater good. Let me quote the Prime Minister again. This is what the Prime Minister said. It really sucks right now. Like everything sucks for people, even in Canada. We're supposed to be polite and nice, but man, people are mad. End of quote. That is what Trudeau said in New York last fall. Yes, Prime Minister, people are mad. They are mad at your complete disregard for rules. They are mad at your audacity to lecture us at the same time. They are mad at your virtue signaling that gives you a free pass on ethics. Justin Trudeau, you are not worth the cost. Harry Truman had a sign on his desk when he was President of the United States, and it said, "The buck stops here." Colleagues, Justin Trudeau is no Harry Truman. He is trying to put blame on everybody and everything else. The Liberals will deflect, obfuscate, and lie to cover up their ethical lapses. That also makes Canadians mad. Justin Trudeau will soon leave his role as Prime Minister, either because he may finally do the right thing and step down, or because Canadians will vote him out of office. One thing is sure, these scandals will be part of his legacy. Canadians will turn to Pierre Poilievre and the common sense Conservatives to bring back integrity and ethics to this government and to our country. Colleagues, I intend to cover more of what Justin Trudeau's legacy will be all about. So with that, I will move the adjournment of the debate for the balance of my time. Thank you, colleagues.
I guess after a piece like that, I don't really have to comment too much on Trudeau, what my personal thoughts are. I'll share this with you. Donald PLETT, that guy, well, I want to see more of him and where he's going to finish. He's only got a little bit of time left before he has to retire. 75 is the limit for senators. So it's going to be really interesting. He's a dog, it would seem, and articulate and very organized and a true politician, the way that we stereotypically think of a legitimate politician. Not that there's very many more of those these days. Let's have hope. My name's Ehren. This is Question Period Canada. It's been a blast. This is pretty crazy. This is going to go somewhere. Canadians are going to eventually see this, and it will bring them to question in their minds what has been going on. Nothing good, I don't think. I've been watching politics now for a long time. 8 months, it seems, but heavy. And when I started, I was truly in the middle. I can show you the first couple of broadcasts. I truly had no clue what was going on. And now that I've just watched the politics from Cpac, I've figured out that there's something really sketchy going on with our current federal government. It's as simple as that. Donald PLETT put a really great argument together there. Can't make a better case, more thorough one than that. My name's Ehren, Question Period Canada. We have a blast here. Every day there's a question period on. We do a live broadcast together with the community. Great chat room. It's super fun. Come check us out and learn. That's what I'm doing, is learning about Canadian federal politics, and we do it right here. Come back, like, subscribe. It's a blast. Get notified. Share it with somebody. Come check out one of the live shows. That'd be fun. We'll see you there.